And as the reason that heat didn't scorch those little brown Jewish bodies, God was in them hearts a beating that made the difference. The Word was anchored in their hearts. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. And as they walked that death march, one looking to the other, up at the top of the plank just before they was to step in, it looked like the darkest hour that they had ever come to. And just as their darkest hour come, as they made their final step down into the fiery furnace, then Jesus came along. That's the way He does. Just in the darkest of the hour, there's only one thing we have to do, and that's stand on God's eternal promises, regardless of what comes or what goes. Stand on the promise. Darkest of hour. And then Jesus coming on. It was one night when a little ship was out in the middle of the ocean, or the Sea of Galilee, bouncing around like a bottle stopper out there. The winds were contrary, the oars had broken, and a bunch of little disciples hugging one another together for the last time. The little old ship had been soaked up and filled with water till it was waterlogged. That might be a great word for you Arizonians. Waterlog is when the wood's all soaked up and it's about to make its last pitch. And as the little old boat rose each time, the next time it would go down surely. The devil was setting on every wave and saying, I got them now. They'll stop their preaching from now on. They thought, or he thought, that they went off without the Lord. Well, what did he do? He had climbed up on top of a mountain and was sitting up there watching that little ship as she was bouncing in the sea. Oh, I'm so glad tonight that he climbed the ramparts of glory and sits in the Majesty on high, and his eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me, and he watches you. Just in the darkest of the hour, when every pit seemed to be the last one, then Jesus come along, walking on the sea. I want you to notice, they were helpless, hopeless, despairing, and when they saw him, they were scared of him. The only thing that could help them, they were afraid of it. May I say this tonight? In this great hour, an atomic age, when this world is in despair, when nations is against nations, and total annihilation could come within 30 minutes to the world, Jesus is coming walking along in this darkest of hour, and the world's afraid of him. And they are saying it's holy rollers and fortunetellers and everything else to be called. I'm so glad that in this dark hour, Jesus is walking along with his church, showing himself alive. This is the the darkest hour this world has ever seen. Since the dawn of time, never has it been like this. Never has it been so separated. Never has the church been so torn to pieces. Never has it been so denominationally eat up. So many differences, so many sensations and things going on in the church. But right in the midst of it all, Jesus comes along in this darkest of the hour to show Himself and His love to His church. The darkest of hour, then Jesus comes along. Across on the other side of the shore, when the little ship pulled itself in to the shore the next morning, there had been a little woman who lived up on the hillside that had perhaps sold everything on the farm and had tried to be healed by the doctors, and none of them could do no good. She'd perhaps sold the team. She'd sold everything she had, spent all her living, and her poor little frail, peaked body, her little pale cheeks, and every hope was gone. Nothing could take place. Of course, she had heard of Jesus, but He was all the way across the sea. And when the last penny had been spent, and when biscuits is made for breakfast, the barrel scraped the bottom, there was no more oil in the cruse. The money was spent, and she was still sick and weak. And just in that darkest of hour, a little boat landed down there, and Jesus came along just at that dark hour. Oh, that's the way He does it. Now, she could not go to Jesus, but, oh, there is one blessed thing. You can't go to Him, but He can come to you. And He has never at any time failed.